Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Before we start the program, it is always befitting for us to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we're going to open up in prayer, and then we'll proceed in our program. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful, all praises are due to Almighty God, the Lord, cherisher and sustainer of the world, most gracious, most merciful, master of the day of judgment. Thee alone do we worship, thine aid we seek. Show us the straight way, the way of those on whom thou hast bestowed thy grace, those whose portion is not wrath, and who go not astray. Amen. Again, we'd like to thank everyone, our guests and our visitors, for coming here to this historical place, Philadelphia Masjid Sister Clara Muhammad School. We want to welcome you here. We want you to feel at home because you are at home. And we want to thank you for coming out while we're here to listen to three distinguished speakers. And if you pay very close attention, you'll hear a lot of good things that you can take with you for the rest of your life, inshallah. So and I don't want to prolong this event. So again, I want to thank you all for coming out to the Philadelphia Masjid. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome to our distinguished guests, to our families and our friends. We welcome you here. Just relax, sit back, enjoy yourself. You're home, inshallah. So with that, I'd like to bring on a brother who I met, Dr. Malachi. And after meeting him, he had brought to my attention that he wanted to put something together here in the Philadelphia Masjid. I thought it was a good idea. I ran across the Amir and the resident Imam, and they were all for it. Alhamdulillah, that's why we're here today. And this is just the beginning of a lot of things that we'll be doing together. And so Dr. Malachi, he's now my son from another mother and father. Is that right? That's right. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to bring Dr. Malachi up, and he will take us further into the program. Peace be unto you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Gracious welcoming to this community. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and that Muhammad is his messenger. I thank you so much for this community partnership. On behalf of Education Opportunities for Families, which is a nonprofit started here in the city of Philadelphia, we are really concerned about the plight of youth in our city. Our executive director, Steve Demar, is in the back. And he has given me the task of making sure that we continue these kind of community partnerships. And coming from the Midwest, coming from Wisconsin, by way of Chicago, here, one of the first things I want to find out is that do we have community partners to engage us in the process of education reform? And unfortunately, at that time, we didn't. We had a whole other strategy. And so I said, well, if you're going to talk about education reform, well, you got to start with the Muslims. So that's how we got to the Philadelphia Masjid, and I couldn't be more happier with the success of our partnership and our continued partnership that we can raise the standard back at the Sister Clara Muhammad School that was once a staple in the community. We want to make sure that that school is another beacon light, that the Philadelphia Masjid is another beacon light, that has always been in this community. And so the Imam has opened up the doors to us. We have other staff members that will be assisting in that. And we have a lot of other things going into the spring of the community partnership events. We have some back to school drives and things that have pushed us into the spring, into the summer. And so we thank you guys again for your support. I won't hold you too long. We got Dr. Nikki Schultz, who is a pioneer educator that started her own school, and she'll lead us in the program. And I'll be back to bore you in just a little bit.
like to start off by telling a funny story before I introduce myself. So, Imam Jamil gave me a call a few days ago, and he said it was urgent that I give him a call back. But usually Imam Jamil's urgency is about other stuff, so it took my time. So he got a few people from the office to call me. So when I called them back, they said, hold on, here's the Imam. I said, I was trying to run from him. But alhamdulillah, when I answered his call, he asked that I sit on the symposium today regarding education. And I didn't take much time to say, okay, I'll be there. I'll be a little late because I have to shut down the school first, but I'll be there. I spent some time today in between of teaching 25 rowdy third graders, running the school, administrating, dealing with parents, dealing with staff, to take some time to write down some ideas of what I had, of why it matters, why does education matter. And I came up with this, and then when we get to our question and answer portion of it, then I'll get more specific into what questions and answers you may have of me at the end. Persistent is always a word I like to use. And I said, one day when we stand before Almighty Allah, the day we all know as Yom Qiyam, it will not matter what our bank account was, the sort of house we lived in, or the kind of car we drove. It will not matter who our friends were, how nice our shoes shine, how slick our hair was pulled back. It will not matter if we had all the money in the world, a booming business, or 1 million followers on social media. It will not matter how beautiful our skin was, how handsome our husband was, or how beautiful our wife was. If I thought that's all it was, or if I was a genius in all my affairs. But what will matter is how we behave as Allah's servant on this planet Earth toward his creation, and believers, especially our children. Teaching, schooling, tutoring, instruction, edification, learning, training, tutelage, culture, coaching, training, philosophy, thinking, doctrine, ideas, principles, beliefs are all synonyms for education. But without discipline, there is no successful education. So in order to have successful education, we also need self-control, self-restraint, regulation, strictness, mastery, conscience, regulation, order, obedience, authority, and to be correct in everything that we do. I'd like to start off by introducing myself. Assalamu alaikum. Greetings of peace and good evening to our most illustrious dais and the participants that are sitting before us today for this Educational Opportunities Symposium. I am Dr. Nikita Schultz, and I am very pleased and humbled to have been chosen to come before you today, representing not only myself, my family of educators, my community, and my educational work. Webster's New World Collegiate Dictionary so eloquently defines persist in the following manner: to continue to be firm in a course of action, in spite of difficulty, opposition, or failure. To continue to exist, hold, last, remain, linger, stay, or endure. To continue steadfastly in some purpose, course of action, or venture, refusal to give up. As a 45-year-old strong African-American Muslim, wife of a Muslim African-American entrepreneur husband, mother of 7 beautiful children, the second eldest of 8 siblings, the 30th of 200 grandchildren, a member of the first legacy family of Cheney University of Pennsylvania, the first historical African-American university of higher education, CEO of NSA Multicultural Systems, CEO of Muslims United for a Better Islamic Community, and CEO of Dream Big Recreational Programs. I've endured many levels of emotional roller coasters on my ride on the road of successful ventures. I was always taught by my mother, Dr. Sharon Joy Schultz Campbell, my aunt, Dr. Suzette Abdul Hakim, and my grandmother, honorary doctorate Gladys and Evelyn Schultz, that education and higher education and the education of our children was not an option. Thus, I have spent the last 25 years of my life doing what I sincerely love, working with youth, young adults, and the constituents of their life. For 20 consecutive years, I've owned, hear me, I've owned and operated my own private Islamic school. Private institution for all families who desire to learn, that their children be educated in an environment of trust, love, peace, and relationship building. I've learned over the years that all children can learn. You hear what I'm saying? All children can learn and must be taught that you get from life what you give. We cannot give up on those who cannot read. I'll say that again. We cannot give up on those children, parents, constituents, those individuals who are part of our team who cannot read. We cannot push them away. We cannot push away those who are in need of our love. We cannot turn our backs on those who are looking for parental figures. We must lend a hand to those in need. We must spend a day in and day out finding ways to get through to those youth who live on the edge of the mantra, so what? I don't care. We hear that every day. So what? I don't care. What does it mean to me? We must remain steadfast in finding new and innovative ways and means of educating our children who just don't seem to get it the way that we taught it the first time. We will continue to be positive individuals as one driving force, no matter where we are on this planet, to see that our children become sound, meaningful citizens, soaring to greater heights as our forefathers worked so hard to pave the path, so that our children could be educated and educate others. We are in charge and must remain persistent in educating our children in these tough times. We are in charge. Yes, these are tough times, but I'm sure our ancestors who were responsible for educating us had tougher times. Not being able to go to school with those who did not look like them. They had tougher times. We had it quite easy, really. I'm sure we can band together and stand together and we can push forward in this educational realm of making sure that our children get what they need. May Allah Almighty above bless us and help us to remain humble on our path of righteous deeds and continue to help us to remain persistent no matter how tough the road gets for us. Our children can, they must, and they will get it as long as we remain persistent. Thank you.
Family, I think we can do a little better than that. We are taught by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad that a nation can rise no higher than this woman. And when you hear a war cry from a woman about the state of children and her sacrifice, it should make men get off their feet and do something. There's a response when you hear a woman cry out about what's going on with children, giving her life, giving her sacrifices, becoming the CEO, because it's our job as men, particularly Muslim men, to make sure that we ensure the safety of our children, the education of our children. The time is now. The time cannot wait for us to get off our feet and do something about the failing children in Philadelphia. The sister is doing something about the education reform that we're looking for. So when I hear the war cry come out of her soul, it does something to me, because it should inspire men to get up and be active in what's going on with your children. We'll hear from Imam Kenneth Nordin yet next about the state of black education in Philadelphia, a pioneer here in this community, and I'm sure he has a lot to say. Following up the beautiful sister.
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, Dr. Schultz, her title was Why Education Matters. And now we can see why. Because she has, some of you don't know, but she went to school here at Claremont High. And so we will take some of that credit. But I want to quote two people before I get started. And, you know, sometimes we quote people who are dead or people who are prominent. I want to quote two local officials. When we look at the state of black education, or the state of education as it affects our children. When the superintendent, Dr. Height, first came here, he stopped up at Buford Elementary School, which is named after the first black astronaut, and he gave a speech. And his speech, he began by saying it's traditional among African people when they greet each other. They don't say, "How are you doing?" They say, "How are the children?" Because if the children are doing okay, it's all good. And if the children aren't, then that means we have some issues in our families, in our communities, in our schools, throughout our society. So we need that, when we want to know what the state is, we should ask ourselves, how are the children? The district attorney Krasner, he gave a talk here at the Message before the election. And one of the things that he said, when the incarceration rate goes up, the poverty rate goes up. When the poverty rate goes up, the education rate goes down. And you know, we have a saying that the pipeline of prisons is not the schools. It's many times it's the communities that the schools are in, because they come from certain communities. And so when we want to know what is the state of black education, we have to look at the signs that are in the neighborhoods that the schools are in. That's not the complete answer. But you can have good schools without good neighborhoods, and I'll put that in quotations. And the signs are these. You can look at the test rates. That'll give you one indicator. You can look at the demographics. That gives you another indicator. You can look at the housing structure. That gives you another indicator. Because no teacher should teach in a school that they wouldn't want to live in. And so you can have good schools that are good neighborhoods. But that's just the external perspective. Because, you know, you can get data on all of this. And you can look at the data and you can come up with conclusions that may be erroneous. Because if you look into, and we should look at schools like we would look at an emergency room. As Dr. Schultz said, the children come with all kinds of issues. And when the teacher comes into the classroom every morning, sometimes it's like an emergency room. And you see certain signs in the children. You may see them acting out. But the sign doesn't tell you the whole picture. The sign only gives you, from your perspective, an external record of what the issue may be. You can't find out what the source of the sign is unless you ask the patient, how are you feeling? And the child may say, I'm hungry. And so they're acting out. The child may say, I haven't seen my father in 5 years. So they're acting out. The child may be in a situation where they may not even have electricity at home. They may not even have a home. So when we look at the condition of black education, the condition of our schools, there is a plethora of causes. There are different signs that can be misread, because there's no such thing as a quote-unquote poor school with an absolute label, because many of us come from these same schools and we do all right. What we need to realize is this, and the thing that we are looking at with this whole process, we are looking at what we may call the blight-free school zone. And this is the approach that we are taking, because the condition of education, you can't look at an organization or an institution. And you are here tonight not to be part of an organization. We have to be part of an organism, and an organism is something that is alive. An organism is something that will fight off things that threaten the life. An organism is something that will absorb what's in the environment, that will enable it to grow and prosper and be healthy. So a blight-free school zone should be something that we all begin to think about from this perspective. The condition of our schools and the philosophy that is the cutting edge of education today. Those philosophies, they come from many different, we just say, backgrounds. There are many different approaches. Some may work, some may not. Some may work for some children, some may not. There's no one size fits all when it comes to how to rectify our condition. But what we want to concentrate on is what state are we in? The state that we are in, again, you can go into an ER, an emergency room, and you can take somebody's blood pressure. And you can come back an hour later, it had been off the charts, but now it's normal. And so they take a reading of our children when it comes to standardized tests. And they look at it, and sometimes the child feels threatened by the test because the test may not be relevant to them. And so you may have a response just to the nature of the test, and it doesn't give us a good perspective on the child and his ability. What our children need, and the thing that will improve the state of education, is the schools have to be like a living organism. And it means there's no organization that is going to correct the problem. That the school has to exist in a community. And this Claire Muhammad School, if you know the history of it, we know it was part of a community. And that community enabled the school to thrive. And so our schools in our neighborhoods have to be a living organism that relates to all that the school needs to thrive and survive. And that means that all of us who are here tonight, don't join an organization, but be part of an educational movement. Because I'll conclude with this. Scholars and teachers don't make knowledge. And we sometimes think we can send our children to a certain school, and because they have teachers in there that have certain degrees, that they're going to do better than they would in other schools. Scholars don't make knowledge. Knowledge makes scholars. People don't make words. Words make people. People use words on us. And the words that they use on us affect us. We have to have a different language. We have to use the language that will make people see we are serious about education. And the way we show we are serious, our language is not based on what we say, but is based on what we do. So let us all be a part of a movement, an organization, where, as our prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, when one part of the body, the whole body feels it. Don't think because you don't have children who are in school that you don't have any skin in the game. Because all of us are in this together. And we'll either, as I think, was it Martin Luther King who said, we either are going to all hang together or hang separately. So let us hang together as an organization. And since we mentioned him, and we mentioned this is his month that they celebrate him, I'll conclude with this final thing that he said. He said there are 4 steps that we have to take when it comes to injustice. And there's a tremendous amount of educational inequity. It is an injustice, it's an oppression, and it leads to slavery. We know because we see the results, we see the signs. He said, but when you find that there's an injustice, the first thing you do is you get the facts. You understand what's happening and why it's happening. Get as much information as you can get. There's always another side to a story. And I know Dr. Schultz knows that her children tell their parents one thing, when the parents come to the school, they get the other side. So there's always another side. So always get the facts. When you get the facts, address the issue. We got our brother Dave Hardy, who is here tonight, and we're going to address some issues when it comes to the Board of Education. So once you get facts, you go to the people who have the responsibility. The third step you do, you go home and you get your own house in order. So make sure it's not your children that are messing up. Make sure that it's not your lack of concern that enables schools to exist the way they exist. And it's like having a house on fire, and we are downstairs in the living room or upstairs in the bedroom arguing, and downstairs is on fire. And the schools represent a fire. So the 4 steps: number 1, get the facts. Number 2, go to the people who are responsible. Number 3, go home and get your own house in order. That's why we have to have a movement. And then number 4, take action. So we're at the point, we're getting our own house in order. We know things are out of order. We know who are responsible. Let us get our own house in order, and then let us be part of a movement. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Brother Imam. So next up is Student Minister Nuri Muhammad. I was tasked with my executive director to find a keynote speaker who had given sacrifices in the realm of education. And so when I thought about this, it took maybe 32 seconds before I had to think of this freedom fighter in Indianapolis who has given his life since he was 17 years old to this cause of helping Black people wherever they are. He has helped me tremendously in pitfalls in my life. I can never thank Allah enough for all the assistance that he has given me through books and audio, DVDs, that when I was a young man and wild and in trouble and got myself into trouble, that his words through him and his teacher were able to lift me up out of that pit. And because of that, the man that you see is created through that. And I thank him for his hard work. When I gave him the call, he didn't think twice. He might have answered me in 12 seconds that he would come out on such a short notice. So if you all, give me a round of applause for my keynote speaker, Student Minister Nuri Muhammad, all the way from Indianapolis, Indiana. He's just closing the time.
Assalamu alaikum. In the most holy name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, we give him praise and thanks for his many blessings that he has bestowed on the human family. We thank Allah, irregardless to land, language, or label, creed, class, or color, race, religion, or ritual, that he has never forsaken the human population whenever they have fallen. Every time in the history of the world that a people have fallen from the pinnacle of power and success, Allah God has always raised from among that people a divine leader, teacher, guide, a messenger, or warner. As a Muslim, we salute and we thank Allah for all of the messengers and the prophets. Mathematically computing, they say there's been about 124,000 messengers and prophets in the last 6,000 years. So we, as Muslims, we thank Allah for Moses and the Torah. We thank him for Jesus and the gospel, and we thank him for Muhammad and the Holy Quran. However, as a Black man in America and as Black women in America, we would be hypocrites to our own history to thank Almighty God Allah for the messengers, the prophets, and his intervention in the affairs of the human population 9,000 miles away, 4,000 years ago, 1,400 years ago, or 2,000 years ago, and not salute and thank that same Creator for intervening in our affairs in the present moment in time in the form of a well-made man. We call him Master Father Muhammad, and we thank him for raising up the one that I think that all of us that are here can say is our common father, that beautiful man named the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We thank the two of them for producing in our midst a man that is a teacher, a guide, a man that has laid down his life for the suffering of our people, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. It's in their holy and their righteous names, my sisters, my brothers, that I greet you in the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum. Before I begin, will you please give our sister, Dr. Nikki, and our Imam Jamil and our Imam Kenneth Nuruddin, give them a round of applause. And I also want to ask you to give a special token of appreciation to our brother, Dr. Malachi, and the organization for putting this program together. Let's show some love for them and the ELF. We appreciate. And I want to say before we begin with just a few short words to our sister, Dr. Nikki. I don't know if you all can hear the pain in her voice as she was communicating the reason why education matters. But I want to say to you, Sister Nikki, and to any teacher that is present, and matter of fact, I want to say to everybody, the most special human being on the face of the planet Earth are the teachers that educate our children. We thank Allah for you. Now, why would I say the most special? Because as a general rule, teachers have more mental muscle than the rest of the population. But what makes a teacher so unique and so special is that normal people, whenever they have intellectual properties or a strong mental muscle, they use their mind in the world to exchange it to earn a better living for themselves, to have a nice car, nice home, etc. But what makes a teacher so special is that even though their mind is strong enough to live a life and use their mental muscle to get that yacht, to get the mansion, and to get a line of automobiles, instead of that, they take their mental muscle, their mental energy, and invest it in preparing the future of our people by teaching and training our children. So let's give it up one more time for our sister and for all of the teachers. Brothers and sisters, real quick, this blessed book, Holy Quran, the greatest and the most perfect book that has ever been written by man and revealed by God. This book, Holy Quran, says about itself that in this book there are similitudes of every kind. Allah, when He revealed the Holy Quran to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, after he revealed the Holy Quran, of course, as Muhammad began to teach, there was many naysayers and doubters as to the truth of the Quran being what it was. So Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, issued 4 challenges to those that disbelieved in this book. He told them, he said, challenge number 1, he said, if you doubt that this is from Allah, the Lord of the worlds, then produce a book like it. No takers. Then he lightened it up a little bit and said, okay, second off, if you can't produce a book like it, I tell you what, produce 10 chapters like it. No takers. Then Muhammad, peace be upon him, lightened the burden and said, okay, if this is not from Allah, the Lord of the worlds, don't worry about a book or 10 chapters, just produce 1 chapter like it. No takers. And the final challenge that he gave for this book, Holy Quran, he said, if you can produce 1 ayat, 1 verse like it, then I will say that this book is not the perfect book from the Lord of the worlds. None were able to produce a book, 10 chapters, 1 chapter, no, not even 1 verse. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said this book is so perfect. He said that if you want to talk to Allah, read the Holy Quran. Then he said, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, whenever you get into trouble, nurse from the Holy Quran. To nurse, isn't this something that a baby calls for the mother's milk about 5 times a day? How many prayers are we? Come on now. And any mother knows that whenever that baby is nursing, not drinking Enfamil, not Similac, but drinking the perfect formula that was organized by Allah Himself inside of the molecular structure of the milk inside the breast of the mother. The breast milk is so perfect that it's the only food that a baby needs. They don't have to eat breast milk and oatmeal. They don't even need breast milk and alkaline water. The milk itself is already alkaline. The milk itself has already the perfect balance of carbohydrates and proteins, amino acids, and all the nutrients needed to make that child into the best that it can be. But any mother knows, and of course fathers that watch, you notice that whenever that baby is nursing from the mother, every time that the mother nurses the child and the mother's bond grows closer to one another. Is this the truth, mothers? Well, so it is if you nurse from the Holy Quran. The nurse's or the mother's milk is the chemical composition of the thoughts of mother put into liquid form to nurse that child into great health. This book, Holy Quran, is the chemical composition of the mind of Allah. Put in, and if we nurse from it every time we pull from this book, Quran. All right, we back. Just like the baby gets closer to the mother, the believer gets closer to the God that revealed this book, Holy Quran. What's beautiful, you say, what does all this have to do with education? I'm getting there. If in this book, Holy Quran, there are similitudes of every kind, that means that there's no situation, no circumstance, no event, no problem that could ever exist in the known world that you can't find the solution to inside this Holy Quran. In this book, Holy Quran, Allah reveals how our children got messed up. Y'all hear me? In this book, Holy Quran, there are 7 different places where Allah and Satan are having a conversation with one another. Inside of the conversation, there's 4 different things that are mentioned that Satan wants to do to the believing community. In fact, the whole playbook of the devil is what? Is in this book. Satan's whole playbook is in there. Now those of you that watch football, y'all know what a playbook is, right? Imagine if you were playing an opposition and you got their whole playbook in advance of playing the game. It would be virtually impossible for you to lose, because every time they made a formation, you would know what call they were getting ready to make. Well, Allah is so merciful that not in a Super Bowl game, but in the game of life, He reveals Satan's whole playbook. So we know everything that Satan plans on doing. In this book, Quran, as Allah is having this conversation with Satan, Satan asked Allah, he said to Allah, he said, respite me until the day when they are raised. Now that's interesting, Brother Imam, because Satan doesn't say, respite me till 2012, or respite me to September of 2050. It's no date. It's a condition that has to take place. Respite me until the what? The day when they are raised. So 2 things need to be found out. Number 1, who is this they that are going to be raised? And then number 2, what is the system that you keep this day down? And what's the system that you raise this group of people called they up? Allah tells Satan, surely thou shalt be of the respited one. Respite means delay my doom, delay my judgment. And because of Satan's arrogance, he reveals his whole playbook. He says, well, I shall lie in wait for them. In thy what? On the what? In the straight path. I shall lie in wait. Meaning, number 1, I'm going to be posted, located in the straight path. That's religion, that's Islam, that's nature. But the word lie in another verb means to speak something that's other or not the truth. So now Satan is telling you that his method, his weapon that he uses is a system of lies. What are you going to do, Satan? He says, I'm going to cause them to become ungrateful. Are y'all hearing that? That tells us that any time that ingratitude begins to enter the heart, that's a sign that Satan has got a grip on us. Then he says, I shall cause them to remain disappointed. So that means that every now and then stuff going to happen. We're going to get bothered. We're going to get sad. But the key is not to remain disappointed. Then the third thing Satan says he's going to do. He says, I shall excite in them vain desires. In other words, I'm going to have them so selfish that they'll be willing to drive an S550 and drop their babies off at the Philadelphia school system, instead of driving a Honda Accord and bringing their baby to an independent Islamic education. The last thing that Satan says he's going to do, he says, I'm going to make all of them deviate. Look at Allah. Allah says, paraphrasing, and you shall get all of them except for my purified ones. You say, well, see, what does this have to do with education? In Surah 17, verse 62, the target audience by which the enemy is going to work with is exposed to us. The target audience, believe it or not, is not the imams or the sheikhs. The target audience of Satan is not the senior citizens, the elders, or even the adults. According to Surah 17:62, it says, and I shall cause your progeny to perish, except for a few. So this means that the four things that this enemy plans on doing: ungrateful, remaining disappointment, inciting in us vain desires, making us all deviate. His target audience is not the imams, the sheikhs, the bullahs. His target audience is not the elders or the adults, but his target audience is our children. Satan is not waiting, brothers and sisters, to attack our babies. That's the reason why when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad described the public school system, he called it the white man's killing field. You say, but I know plenty of children that made it all the way through school and they were able to flip the tassel over and say that they have a diploma and they graduated. Yeah, but it's not a killing field of the body of your sons and daughters. Whenever our babies are put inside of a white supremacist system called public education, it's a killing field because their hopes, dreams, and aspirations have been assassinated. They have met spirit killers inside the school. And if you look back and rewind in your own mind, somewhere along the road, you met somebody as you were coming up prepared to be what you wanted to be. Most of us have not become, as adults, what we said we wanted to be when we were children. Is this the truth? If I could interview the 6-year-old you and say, what do you want to be? You might have said doctor, you might have said architect, you might have said lawyer, you might have said chemist, you might have said engineer. But then when I interview the present day you and ask you what you are, you become none of that. Question is, what happened between the time that you wanted to be this doctor at the age of 4 and 5 to now the point you have 40 and 50 and never achieved the objective? You met a spirit killer. And most of the time, the spirit killer was a no-good teacher inside of one of these schools that poisoned your mind and made you think that you couldn't do what you could do. That's why in our school, Dr. Nikki, and I hope y'all will incorporate this. That's why in our school, and I hope they will incorporate this in the Clara Muhammad School when it gets going like it needs to go. The first day of school at our Muhammad University of Islam, we have a funeral. You say, what, a funeral? Yeah, we have a funeral for the word Cain. Are y'all hearing me? All the children have to make up a name tag that says Cain on it. And then we all go in the back of the mosque and dig up a hole, and all the children take the word Cain and throw it inside the grave. Then we have one of the students eulogize Mr. or Mrs. Kane. Now, you know, normally a eulogy tell you all the good stuff about it. This is a different kind of eulogy. We want to tell you all the stuff that believing in the word Kane will mess you up in. So when they come and we bury the word Kane on the first day of school, sometime throughout the course of the year, you'll hear them say, I don't care. So what? Or you'll hear them when they get challenged in math and science, I can't do so forth. And we say, well, wait a minute. Where's Cain at? Oh, that's right. Cain is dead. And if they slip up again, we'll take them outside to the grave site and let them know. So look, listen, if Cain is dead and it's buried right there, you are not allowed. You thought I was going to say Cain, didn't you? You're not allowed to use that word no more. When the children are inside the school, you'll see where Jay-Z, the rapper Pharrell, in the history of Malcolm X, in the history of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, in the history of Steve Harvey, you'll find that all the time that you see the great ones, normally they met some spirit-killing teacher inside of one of these white supremacist schools that stuck a poison inside of their brain like Yaqub's laborers used to do. Stuck a needle in the brain and sent the enzyme that broke them down. And so you hear in the story of Malcolm X, where he said when he was in the 8th grade, his teacher asked him what he wanted to be in life, and he said he wanted to be a lawyer. And the white teacher told Malcolm, they said, oh, Malcolm, you know that my people would never hire you to represent them. And your own people don't trust their black lawyers enough, so they wouldn't hire you either. But you'd make a good carpenter, Malcolm. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said same thing happened to him when he was in his 6th grade. They asked, what do you want to be, Louis? I want to be a doctor. She said, oh, Louis, you know that your people wouldn't hire you. And you know my people would never hire you to operate on them. You play the violin beautifully. Why not be a violinist? Jay-Z said the same thing happened to him. Pharrell said the same thing happened to him. Steve Harvey said whenever he was in the 6th grade, he wrote a paper on what he wanted to be in life. And when he got the paper, the teacher called him to the front of the classroom and he assumed that he was getting ready to read the paper. It was good. He got to the front of the classroom, prepared to read what he wanted to be. And the white teacher looked over at him and said, Steve, what did you write your paper on? And Steve Harvey said, I wrote my paper that you said I want to be on television like Bill Cosby. The white teacher said to Steve Harvey this, let me ask you something. Is any of your family on television? He said, no, ma'am. Do you know anybody on television? No, ma'am. She said, what I want you to do is I want you to take that paper home and tear it up and write a paper on something more realistic and bring it back. Realistic is a code word that wicked, spirit-killing, dream-snatching teachers use to make your child punk out on their dreams and their aspirations. So Steve Harvey, when he got home, he said to his mother, he said, Mom, in school they told me to write on what I wanted to be. I said I wanted to be on television. And the teacher told me to tear it up and write a paper on something more realistic. Steve Harvey's mother made a big mistake. She said, well, if that's what the teacher told you to do, then that's what you need to do. Are y'all hearing me? Do you know right now that according to the reports that 86% of all teachers inside the school system are white women? That only 6% of the teachers inside the public school system are black people? You're not hearing me. And only 1% of them are black men. And 99% of the 1% of the teachers that are black men are gym teachers. So our sons never go to school in the public school system and are able to meet a black scientist, a black mathematician, a black historian, the only thing they can meet is a black man gym teacher. Steve Harvey came home and told his mother, and his mother made a big mistake. See, mothers and fathers, remember this. Let me ask you something. Just tell me if I'm telling the truth. How many of you have children raised your hand? Is this the truth? A real mother and father does not want their child to be like them. A real parent wants their child to be better than them. Is that the truth? So once you understand that concept, you've got to know, mother and father, that you are the soundboard by which your children are going to bounce ideas off of. Anytime that your child gives you an idea of something they want to be or something they want to do or something they want to have, it's your job, if you want them to be better, to redecorate. Package it up, add some things to it, and hand them back their idea so when they get finished talking to you, they want to be even more than what they said. Do more than what they said and have more than what they said they wanted to achieve. Steve Harvey's mother made a mistake, though. She told him to tear up the paper, but we think it a lot that he had enough sense to wait till his father came home. That's why it's important for the mother and the father to be inside the household. I'm not messing up the time now. I'm okay? Can I get 7 minutes? I didn't plan on saying none of this, but Allah is the best known. When Steve Harvey's father came home, he said, Dad, at school, the teacher told me to write a paper on what I wanted to be. I said I wanted to be on television like Bill Cosby. And she told me and asked me, do I know anybody on TV? Does any of our family on TV? When I said no, she said, tear it up and write something more realistic. I came and told Mom that. Mom said I need to do what the teacher said. What do you think? And Steve Harvey's father said, well, let me see that paper. And he looked at it. And his wife was there. Steve Harvey was there. He said, well, I don't see nothing wrong with it. Let me tell you, Steve, you go upstairs in your room and shut your door. I need to talk to your mama real fast. Now, I can't say for sure what he said to her, but I can pretty much guess. He probably, don't you ever tell none of our children that they can't achieve something that they got their mind to. Anything our children put their mind to, they can make it happen if they want to make it happen. Steve Harvey's father came up to his room and told Steve Harvey, said, I tell you what we're going to do. I want you to write a paper saying you want to be a police officer. You're going to turn it in to the teachers with a grade. But what I want you to do with your paper is I want you to put on the top drawer inside of your bedroom. And every morning before you walk out to start your day, before you leave your bedroom, I want you to read your paper to yourself. Every day for 10 years. He read that paper. What did the Imam say? He said, no, people don't make words make people. And as he began reading every day for 10 years straight, I want to be on television like Bill Cosby. Question, where's Steve Harvey at right now? Is he on television? And you know he's a comedian too, right? So guess what he does every year? That 6th grade spirit-killing teacher that told him that, every year for Christmas, he mails her a brand new TV. Yeah, did y'all hear me? He want to make sure she ain't got no excuse to. Brother Imam, it happened to me too. When I was in the 6th grade, you know, I finally will admit I probably was pretty bad. But I'm going to tell you something, as our sister was saying, there's no child that cannot be taught. All children can be taught. And some of the worst children make the best adults. I thought y'all would have clapped for that because some of y'all here, I can tell y'all was bad when y'all was good. Okay, we're gonna try that again. Okay, let's take 2. Now y'all know y'all was cutting up when y'all was little. Okay, y'all want to try it again? All right. Some of the worst children make the best adults. Okay, now that's a little bit better, brother, now. But when I was growing up, my teacher took my best friend to the side and told him, he said, look, I'm going to tell you something. I can tell that you have potential, but your partner, I've seen his kind before. He's going nowhere in life and he's going to be a nobody. So if you want to be something, I'm recommending that you get away from him as soon as you can. Now this is my best friend now. We live next door to each other. Whenever my electricity don't work, I'll run an extension cord from his house. Y'all don't know nothing about none of that. Y'all never had poverty in Philadelphia before. We shared each other's cereal. This is my ace. So what you think he did when the teacher told him? He told me. And when I got back to school the next day, my word is bond, I was so upset that when I showed up before I went into class, I told the teacher, I said, I need to see you in the hallway. This is his word is bond. I know the teachers normally pull you in the hallway, but I pulled him in the hall. And I told him, I said, is it true that you said that I was going nowhere in life and was going to be a nobody? And he started trying to skate. And I said, did you say it or did you not say it? He said, I did. I said, well, for the rest of this year, I'm going to tell you this. Don't say nothing to me. That's the Master's edited version. For the rest of this year, how can I believe in you as my teacher when you don't even believe in me as your student? Lo and behold, a couple of years ago, I was speaking at Butler University. And after I got finished doing the lecture, guess who walked up to me to shake my hand? This no good, spirit-killing 6th grade teacher. And he had the audacity when he shook my hand to say to me, he said, you know what? I always knew you was going to be something. I was thinking this, but guess what? More than likely, he's telling the truth. But he wanted to derail me. He wanted to snatch my dreams. He wanted to kill my spirit before I ever could become what I was supposed to become. I'm saying that to say to you that if you don't think by now, how long will we wait? If you don't think by now that independent education that is learning black children learn about themselves from people that look like them is not important, then we are further behind than where we think we are. I'll close with this. Robert Collier in 1926, he's considered to be the father of Western education. Listen to his words. He said that education is 1/4 information and 3/4 encouragement. Did y'all hear me? Education is 1/4 information and 3/4 encouragement. And he said that what encourages children is that when they can see people that look like them that accomplished great feats in the past. He said when a child can see somebody that looks like them that accomplished great feats in the past, it activates in them the strongest force in the human psychology, which is the need for one to behave in accord with the way one sees themselves. I'm saying that to say this, that if we continue to drop our babies off at a killing field and not set up independent black education with a black curriculum and black teachers in front of them, they will never learn about people that look like them that accomplished great feats in the past. Don't you know in New York, they have a survey right now called the Obama Effect that bears witness to this? In a high school in New York, before Obama became president, they gave the students a test. 80% of them flunked the test. They had an idea. I want to see if we can give them the same test with no tutoring, no new knowledge after Obama became president. I want to see how they do this. Now, I don't know about y'all, but when Obama was running for office, especially, I'm talking about that first time, maybe that's the second time. That first time, I was geeked up. Was y'all excited? I mean, change you can believe, a black man in the White House. And I mean, brother man, I was so excited that I used to literally watch the debates like a basketball game. I had gotten used to seeing black men out jump white men, out run, out dance. But in the debate, I want a black man out think white men. I kind of like that. I was getting so many text messages when Obama was running for office. It was almost like the Underground Railroad via text message campaign. I had one text message where they said it'd be a cold day in hell before a black man become president. It was 28 degrees during the inauguration. Cold day in hell. I had another one say that before a black man be president of the United States, pigs will fly, and here comes the swine flu. I had another one where they took Obama and McCain and converted them into an acronym. Obama, obviously blacks are moving America. McCain, maybe crackers can accept it now. And the last one I got, they said, my cousin sent me a message. They said they over to the fat lady sing, and Aretha Franklin did the national anthem. They took these same little young brothers and sisters that flunked 80% failure and gave them the same test after Obama became president. No tutoring, no new knowledge, and do you know that 80% that failed, all of them passed with flying colors? What it showed is that they never lacked the knowledge. What they were missing was the confidence. And I said, man, if learning about one black man in their immediate history can have that much of a psychological impact and produce that much encouragement and confidence, what would happen to our black children if they were able to be taught about Shaka Zulu, about Queen Nzinga, about Nefertiti, about W.E.B. Du Bois, Frederick Douglass, Nat Turner, Denmark Vesey, Gabriel Prosser, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Do you know that black and white children start school the same way? Both of them start school, ask their mother, they hold on mama's leg, they real timid and head down, and as they move through, they crying. But you'll notice that as they go through 12 years of matriculation through the school, because they both will learn about Thomas Jefferson, a white man, George Washington, a white man, Newton, Einstein, Plato, Socrates, white men. The white child, learning about somebody that looks like them that accomplished great feats in the past, gets encouragement from them. So the next thing you know, after 12 years, the white child walks out to school, not with their head down, but with their head held high, chest out, ready to conquer the known world. But the black child never learned about nobody that looked like him. So when he leaves the school, not only is his head down, but his pants is down now too. But if our babies could be taught from an early age, from some teachers that look like them, from a curriculum that they can find themselves in, I guarantee you in the twinkling of an eye, we'll be able to overthrow Satan's whole playbook. Gratitude to be back in the black community. We won't be disappointed no more. We won't have vain desires. There will be no deviation, and we will be able to put Satan's plan 100% in check. You and I can do it, brothers and sisters, but it starts by making our children the priority. I'll take my seat and say this. The number one investment for a real man and woman is not their 401k, not their savings account, not in real estate. The number one investment of a real black man and a real black woman is their children. Thank you for this as I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Again, I want to thank all the believers at the Philadelphia Masjid, the Imam for gracing us with this this first of our town hall meetings. Myself and Dave Hardy, which is the founder of Boys Latin Charter School here, all black male charter school here in Philadelphia, will take questions and answers from the staff. So if any of you guys have any questions about education opportunities for families, questions about what you've heard, we'll take to the Q&A now. Any questions? If you have any questions, you can raise your hand. All right, we don't have any questions. Is what you heard, do you believe it's true and good for our people, good for this community? Did you raise your hand for that? Okay. And those who want to assist us in education opportunities for families, we have a Bill of Rights out there that you can sign up for. We are doing our community partnership. We'll have community partners. Our field organizer, Cecil Parsley, will give you the information. There will be stipend for families at the end of each month for those who participate. You can get with your local imam after this program or contact Cecil and we get a mailing list from you. We'll call you later on this week. I'm gonna let you know when the program will start. Our intention is to start it in February. And so you get more information about that. But again, I want to thank you for this opportunity, for allowing us to come to the masjid, and I'm really excited about our continued partnership with the Philadelphia Masjid. Do you have anything? You got anything? And then for anyone that would like to purchase any books by Student Minister Nuri Muhammad, he has books and lectures that he brought as well, and they'll be out front for you when you leave out.
Assalamu alaikum. So at this point, we're going to close out. We're going to close in prayer, and we want everyone to know that once you leave here, we want you to come downstairs. We prepared some food downstairs for everyone here. We want you to go downstairs, just fellowship or have a ma'ida, to sit around and talk and get to know each other. We'd like to thank our minister and our friend. He's our brother, Minister Nuri Muhammad. We really do thank you. And inshallah, he'll be back one day again giving us a visit. This is our family here, and this is, we're all but one family, so alhamdulillah, we really appreciate it. So we're going to close out with al-Fatiha. And then everyone, we can just meet and greet. We have a lot of food downstairs. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladhina an'amta alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Ameen. Again, thank you very much. Welcome to the historical Philadelphia Masjid, Sister Clara Muhammad School. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.